Guys, welcome back to HPL. We have seen some crazy games here tonight. This is the kind of stuff you see when you don't place any restrictions whatsoever on a professional player. We've seen a Malagos Dragon Warlock deck. We've seen Reincarnate Shaman with Nat Pagel. We've seen a Hunter with Fel Reaver in it, and we're seeing our second 5-game set between two professionals.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier. We got 2 5-game sets tonight. I wanted all of them to go to 5 games tonight, and I got my wish. And guess what? It's good for you guys, too. You're getting to see the full range of HPL here tonight. You're getting to see the full range of these players as well. They are all over the place with their decks, as you said. Card choices coming out of nowhere. I didn't think we'd see, like, 4 of the cards, at least, that we saw tonight. So it's going to be interesting to see what they queue up here for Game 5, the deciding game between Dog and Kranich. Here we go, Game 5.
Guys, get out there on Twitter, use that hashtag HPL, let everyone know who you're supporting, who you're rooting for, what you think is going to happen. Anything could step up in this final game, Game 5, Kranich versus Dog.
Yeah, we see a little bit of a switch between the two players here. Dog is going to queue up Rogue, and Kranich is the one pulling up Grim Patron Warrior.
Yeah, I mentioned that Dog very, he's fluent with this Rogue deck as well, knows exactly what's going to end up happening in these series. I mean, this is crazy what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, so it looks like Dog actually has a Kazon Mystic in his Rogue deck as well.
Yeah, this is like crazy stuff. I wonder where these Kazon Mystics are coming from. Like, you have to have such a strong read on your opponent to play a card like this and know exactly what's going on. I mean, this is like crazy stuff we're seeing. Yeah, just gonna be Loot Hoarder. I mean, just like you said, we're swapping these decks. Grim Patron Warrior now versus the Rogue. This is a matchup that I feel like occurs very often, and I'm curious who actually has the advantage in this one, because in one light, you have Blade Flurry, which can provide these massive damage swings and pick up a ton of minion kills, but Grim Patron's always got that threat of massive damage spikes when it puts together the combo.
Yeah, I've played both ends of it, and it feels pretty close to me. I feel that Rogue, if they come out quick, has the quickest way of like killing you and ending the game. If they get a huge Blade Flurry one turn and stick a couple of minions to the board and keep them there. But as we said, Grim Patron is never out of it at any point in time. They can have huge damage spikes out of nowhere.
Yep, so 2 Loot Hoarders not going to provide any pressure for Kranich so far. Dog able, Rogue hero powers, getting that weapon up, being able to leverage that life total to make sure you keep early minions under control. He's already got a little bit of a board lead, and I mean, this is one of those situations very early on that can spell trouble for a warrior. It's a situation exactly like this. Look at this, he's just going to execute straight away. This is how frightened he is. If he's going to execute here, there's 2 different ways to think about it. Number 1 is Mana Wraith comes out of this piloted shredder. He's not going to be able to play this Frothing Berserker without using the coin, but at the same time, if something like Doomsayer comes out, you're going to really regret having played the minion prior to it.
Yeah, that's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't situations. I like playing the Frothing Berserker first. Might as well get the extra value and getting the power up there. And you're going to see Eviscerate come in and take care of this Frothing Berserker. Now, this is what I talked about with the Rogue deck. If they can get a huge board presence early and then push their advantage with their early removal, it's very easy for them to win from there. It snowballs quite a bit onto the Warrior deck.
Yeah, Kranich now going to have to find a way to clean this up. No weapons, so he can't take any blowback to clean up this board, something that Warriors, you see it so often. It's one of the ways that they easily can cruise through games, is being able to kill all the early minions with the weapons they draw, very efficiently deal with them, and then after they've leveraged that life total, they can gain that back with a hero power, use armor smiths afterwards, a slew of ways to make sure that their health is protected, while at the same time disrupting the way that your opponent chooses to use their mana. We're not seeing those weapons, and as a result, we're seeing Kranich fall behind.
Yeah, you're seeing Kranich fall way far behind here, and he's actually having to think pretty hard this turn on what he needs to do. He needs to dig into his deck to find his combo pieces, while at the same time help himself control this board, because he is falling very far behind, as you said.
Yeah, I mean, there's an opportunity here to make a very big Grim Patron board, but you always run the risk of something like Blade Flurry when you invest into that. And I think that's one of the situations that makes this matchup so interesting, is when players should go for these execution spots where they can fill up their board and take those big risks, or when they should bide their time and make sure that they're just kind of safe and waiting for the right cards.
Yeah, and Kranich is going to use his second Inner Rage here and just cycle it, get an armor and a card off it. He's going to get decent value off of his Inner Rage here, but he's out of them with it so far in the deck. But he has a Whirlwind in his hand, so he's going to be able to hopefully go off for him later in the game.
Yeah, this looks like a very, very clean prep sprint turn here. That Pint-Sized Summoner actually doing a lot of work here too. That's going to make the first minion that he plays every turn cost less. And look at that. It happens to have an SI7 agent, which can kill this 3-2.
Everything coming up spades here for Dog. Just great execution so far, and everything is just working for him. He's also going to get a little extra damage on this this Armor Smith here, and probably finish it off with the Pint-Sized Summoner.
Yeah, make sure he takes care of the Armor Smith. It's going to prevent Kranich from getting an extra armor, making sure his sequence is right on point. That's a mistake that can frequently be made. I have fallen victim to that as well. Just I know I can kill everything on the board, so I just run them out there in any order, and then I regret it later on when they got that extra armor. So it doesn't, not that it's going to always make a difference, but when it does, boy, does that sting.
Yeah, and you see a big game hunter drawn here, and you know what? That's not very good in this matchup. There's not usually any targets in the rogue deck except for a gigantic Van Cleave.
Yeah, we've seen people have sort of the wrong tech cards in the wrong spots. And really, the first big one we've seen utilized was the fact that Dog had that Harrison Jones versus Kranich in that game 2. So finally picking up a weapon here is Kranich, and he's getting mighty low on life. I mean, he's down to 16 health after the armor up, and he's staring down a board full of minions. This cannot be a comfortable position.
This is not a comfortable position whatsoever, and Eviscerate is a huge draw here. It's going to be able to allow him to push through a ton more damage. We're going to see how Dog navigates this turn. I feel that he can push enough this turn to probably finish it off next turn.
I mean, looking at what he's got right now, I mean, Azure Drake seems like such a very clean play here. Is he worried about Grim Patron swings back on the other side of the board? I mean, this may be something he's thinking about, is finding a way to sacrifice his Pint-Sized Summoner to make sure that sort of stuff can't happen. So Lotheb, obviously a very good draw, not going to be utilized this turn, but that backstab now deals 3 points of damage, so very easily able to pick off this, this Dread Corsair and continue to apply pressure.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if he actually trades off his Pint-Sized Summoner here, just so there's no clean Grim Patron plays, as you said. But you have to feel as Dog that Kranich is digging and like just struggling here in this game. You have to feel that he's struggling and doesn't have what he needs. And I like this. I would just push.
Yeah, just pushing for damage. It looks like everything to the face. Kranich is down to 6. He's facing a full board of stuff. He does not have a way to charge that Grim Patron, so it can't be utilized this turn. Execute doesn't have a strong target right now. He can Whirlwind clear out this Pint-Sized Summoner. He can use Execute to kill off this Azure Drake, but there's nothing else after that. I think that this game is just ended.
Yeah, this game looks like it's going to be over. That Execute is going to be more than enough from Dog's side to end it from here. Yeah, just a pretty poor showing overall from the Grim Patron Warrior deck. These players, everyone came prepared and knew the matchup and how to beat it.
Yeah, so play this this big game hunter, make sure that you get some extra armor out of this, but looks like, I mean, maybe he just barely survives.
No, the Eviscerate is going to be enough, I think, right?
It goes to 7, yeah. I mean, just not enough at the end of the day. He could run his Armor Smith into the 3-2.
Well played, he knows.
Well, he runs the Armor Smith into 3-2, but that still leaves the 3-1 around, so that's going to do it. Eviscerate going to finish off Kranich. Dog going to take a very close series of this one, 3 games to 2.
Yeah, you just see the Grim Patron Warrior deck losing a little bit there, and God, Dog comes out with a big win here with this Rogue deck. You know what? It's a deck I didn't think we'd see out of him in the last game. I thought that he would go back to playing Druid, go back to his bread and butter, but he surprised all of us, brought out a Rogue deck, understood his matchup there with Grim Patron Warrior, and got his 3-2 win and his first win here in HPL.
Yeah, Grim Patron absolutely has been dismantled so far here in HPL. Like you said, everyone has come prepared for it, and it shows you exactly how professionals think in these styles of metagames. If you expect people to be playing these power strategies, you play strategies that match up well against them. That's exactly what we saw. Dog put together an early board presence. He killed every minion that Kranich threw at him that game and got an overwhelming presence so he could push for that big damage and make sure he ended the game before Kranich found the right cards.
Yeah, he absolutely found the right lines of Rogue there. He did exactly what you want to do in your matchups. He controlled the board early, got his own board presence, and as we said, it just snowballed from there, and he just kept pushing in a little extra damage every turn and eventually got the win against Grim Patron Warrior.
Yeah, that's going to do it in this match. Dog, again, 3 games to 2. We're going to have an interview with him when we come back, but you're going to have to sit through a small break first, guys. Don't go anywhere. Dog's going to give us insight into exactly what he did to beat Kranich. You're watching Hearthstone on PvP Live.